Hello, today we will meet Bibi, a fierce and resilient mother from South Africa. Bibi is the proud mom of two brave boys battling X-linked adrenoleukodystrophy, ALD. Her strength, faith, and tireless determination have turned her into a powerful advocate, not just for her sons, but for every family fighting this rare disease. Through her campaign at Saving Two Brothers, Bibi has mobilized communities, raised critical awareness, and led massive efforts to find life-saving donors for her son. Her voice carries the stories of ALD families across South Africa and beyond, bringing hope where it is needed most. Bibi, you're a true warrior mama, and we are proud to stand with you.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me here today with you.
It's my pleasure. Can you please tell us a bit about yourself and introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm a mom of two. My sons are Abu Talib and Ayub. They were diagnosed last year, June. And I think like any other ALD family, it's the first time you heard the words leukodystrophy, adrenoleukodystrophy, and very quickly you become the experts after that. So it's been a very interesting journey navigating this. Unfortunately, my oldest son is now bedridden. The disease has been very progressive in his case, while my youngest son only has adrenal insufficiency, and we just monitor him. So yeah, that's just a nutshell a bit about us. We are from Cape Town. Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I know it's hard, but can you tell us the story from the very beginning, from first symptoms and all of this in order to raise the awareness and save other lives?
Yes, of course. So I'm not sure if it'll be possible with me actually to share my screen with you. Okay. So I created this last year. As you can see, it's just a handwritten note on a notepad when I was navigating this journey and trying to make sense of what we were faced with. You know, Abu Talib, he got diagnosed on the 1st of June. Up until then, he was pretty much a normal 8-year-old boy. I think I'm going to just swap to my face and then I'll change to the screen as soon as I start speaking to it. But yeah, he was pretty much a normal, he was doing well at school, he was doing karate, he was going to doing Islamic studies, he was doing, normal things, he had hobbies, he was excelling physically, and there was no major red flags. So I didn't see this coming. But once he got diagnosed, things that happened in his childhood started making a bit sense. His skin changed color and he got dark quite early. And initially I thought, he loved being outside. He loved playing in a pool. He loved, just playing in the sun. And I thought he was standing, but it obviously was one of the flags of the disease. Secondly, he struggled with handwriting in grade 1. His handwriting was very poor. I took him to an educational psychologist. She diagnosed him with ADHD and recommended that he sees an OT just to assist with his fine motor skills and his ability to cross his middle line. He also seen an eye specialist because they noticed that could be linked to his handwriting, the ability to write in a straight line. So there was a couple of things from a learning perspective. But again, given our decade and the generation, they're watching YouTube, they're watching TV, they are overstimulated. These are very normal things, It's nothing unusual, I would say. So, I gave him all the support that was necessary at the time. And, it helped. I won't say that none of it helped. It was helping, but it took him very long. So, all the additional support did help, but it did take him a while to get a grip on it. And then once he actually kind of started doing better, he just took a dip from an emotional point of view. Things that he used to enjoy, he wasn't enjoying. If I had to tell them we're going to go to the park, the typical response would be, yay. It will just be, okay. So there was this emotional detachment that he was going through, and I couldn't make sense of it. But at the time in the family, his grandfather was really ill, and he had a bit of a near-death experience with a heart attack. So, I kind of associated his emotions to what was happening in our family unit and what was going on with people that he was really close with. So, everything kind of seemed normal, seemed justified. Nothing stood out. And once he was diagnosed, and I reflected back from the skin darkening to the handwriting to he had a bit of a tongue thruster, he'd done some speech therapy. So once I started reflecting back to all these things, they actually all were red flags for adrenoleukodystrophy.
He was first diagnosed by adrenal insufficiency or Addison's disease, then later by adrenoleukodystrophy, or how was the diagnosis there in South Africa?
So, what happened to him on the day that he was diagnosed? It was a Saturday. We were walking to the car after karate. He bumped his head, and he generally has a very high pain threshold. I didn't think anything of it. And he said to me, Mom, I knocked my head. And I was like, oh my word, are you okay? And he said, no, I'm fine. And I said, okay. And we got home, and he didn't cry, nothing. It was fine. When we got home, he started vomiting and feeling unwell. I then took him to emergency. And when I got to emergency, they said he was having a focal seizure. So I think this was probably one of the scariest things, a focal seizure. You're so used to seizures having eye rolls and shakes and something that's so visible that you can see. And with a focal seizure, you can't see them actually seizuring. It's a very scary thing to get this news. Oxygen stats weren't good, and they immediately got him up to the pediatric ICU. CT scan on the day showed some inflammation, and the next day they got him to do an MRI the Sunday. It was still very difficult on a Sunday to get an MRI, to get radiologists, to get, the specialists in. But the doctor made it happen, and we had the MRI done the Sunday. The Sunday night, I got told he has leukodystrophy. I think it was the Monday that they started doing the ACTH bloods. Once they done that, the full picture started coming. So very quickly, he got his diagnosis within a couple of days. We stayed in hospital for them to do some trials with the medication, figuring out, what dosages is correct for him, how things agree with him. And we came home a week later, and with this very heavy news. Had no idea what to expect on our journey forward. So I know a lot of adrenoleukodystrophy cases differ with how they kind of progress. In my son's case, he first lost his cognitive ability. So the minute we came home from hospital, you had to watch him all the time. He had no sense of danger. He had no sense of fear. He would eat grass. He would want to pick up stones and put it in his mouth. He would want to go outside, climb onto the house roof, climb over our gate. Just cognitively, he was not present, not himself, wasn't able to receive communication or to communicate as well. His body almost went into survival mode in that he did communicate, but he only communicated his needs. So it will be, I need the toilet, I need water, and literally in that tone. So he was only getting out his bare needs, and that was kind of our early days navigating this journey. His eyesight went, so then but he could still walk. So he would hold along the walls and just feel his way, and he was very busy. It was kind of like having a toddler but in this big boy body. We had to baby-proof the house. We had to block off the kitchen with couches. You couldn't just do it with a simple mechanism like you could for a baby. So we used big objects and items. We had to put away glass things. We had to baby-proof it for his own safety. It was very challenging just trying to keep him safe. By September, he wore nappies full time. It slowly started within the evenings and in the day. I think it was about, his vision was it wasn't a overnight thing. You could see it. It was slowly went. So like the first initial sign where I saw was when I gave him a plate of food and he'll eat everything on the one side and he'll say, "Mom, I'm done." And he actually can't see the food on the other side of the plate. And then there was the one eyeball that you could see just kind of drift off and not be focused any longer. So, when it came to his hearing and his vision, it was kind of a slow progression of it. And I can't tell you exactly when things got extremely bad. So he walked actually, I would say, till about Feb, quite strong. Coordination was out, he would aim for the doorway, but slightly the door frame, but he was walking till about Feb. March, he struggled a bit with walking. You could see the legs were a problem for him. He would walk a bit and then he would just kind of sit down on his knees, and then he would walk a bit and sit down, and you could see he needed some assistance in March. By the end of March, he struggled with swallowing. Initially, the swallowing was only just water that was difficult, and within about 2 weeks, it progressed to him not being able to swallow anything. That was quite a stressful time for me because every day you're waking up and it's like, oh, what are you going to try today? So, you're trying some mashed bananas, you're trying yogurt, you're trying anything. And I was keeping the doctors updated with what was going on. In the same time, while he was struggling to intake food, he was getting constipated. He obviously wasn't getting enough fiber, and I couldn't treat the constipation. When I treated it, then it just reoccurred. It was this vicious cycle. So that was quite a challenging time. It was about 2 weeks, and the doctor gave us the go-ahead to come into hospital. When we came into hospital, he then had the NGT tube put in, and they dehydrated him. They treated him for constipation. So they just wanted to kind of get him a bit strong. So he had treatment. He came out. He was at home for a week, and then he was booked for surgery for his Mickey tube. So
the G tube, right? The G tube, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he had that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was the 2nd or so of April, end of March, beginning of April. He was in hospital for the Mickey tube. So they actually done 2 surgeries. They did the Mickey tube and Nissen surgery. So the Nissen surgery is taking a piece of the tummy and actually wrapping it around the pipe that goes up. And what it does is it prevents reflux. Typically, they don't do the 2 surgeries together. Usually, they'll do the tube, and only if it becomes the issue later on, they would do the Nissen surgery. But because the disease is progressive and we don't know how stable he would be later on, they thought it would be best to do it together, which I think was a very good decision. So he was in for surgery. Alhamdulillah, surgery was successful. We came home, and after that big surgery, it definitely took a knock. He didn't walk at all. He didn't stand. He could only wave his right arm, and he was a lot less animated. So prior to that, you could tickle his chin, you'll get a smile, and you would get something, and we got less. So it was quite challenging from an emotional perspective, because it was a lot less him. Where we are today is it's just again so as from surgery, he's been bedridden. But what has worsened over time is his muscle stiffness. So while he done the surgery, they actually did some Botox for him because it was evident. But the Botox, they said, I'm not sure. You know, it's still quite soon to say that it's out of his system, but the muscle stiffness has gotten bad. So we are taking the muscle relaxers. I think most families I know as well are doing like your gabapentin, your baclofen, and we're doing physio. So we're doing what we can, but the muscle stiffness is a reality. I say the baclofen was a bit of a game changer for us. Before that, he had a lot more discomfort from muscle stiffness. Once we started the baclofen, his discomfort, I can count, a couple a week of moments where he would express something. So the baclofen was a good game changer. And yeah, so that's kind of where we are with him today. It's been very quick. I mean, this month, the 1st of June, marked a year. And, just to reflect back a year ago, he was walking, talking, eating, expressing himself, doing all these things. It has been very, very quickly.
But you did amazing job. I've watched and I've seen your campaign when you were searching for donors in the hope that he can have the bone marrow transplant. It was really amazing.
Yeah, I think as parents, you're very quick to go into survival mode, and you will grab onto anything to assist your kids. And it was a no-brainer. My amazing family and friends and colleagues campaigned, so strongly. So it's really been that has been quite a success. Unfortunately, Abu Talib's low score was too high to proceed with its stem cell transplant. In his case, also.
Yeah, sorry for interruption. I was about to ask you how was his low score when you discovered or when he was diagnosed?
His low score on diagnosis was 14.
14, yeah.
Yeah. His low score on diagnosis was 14. So it was a bit on the higher end. We went to see a hematologist, and I think the only concern at the time was a lot also how Abu Talib would cope with being in surgery and going through that process even, because by then, like I told you, he was cognitively not present. He was very difficult to examine. Trying to contain him to a hospital room would have been impossible. So, but it really just wasn't on the cards for him because the low score wasn't, it was too high. And there was also no match. So I think, just looking at what was, the information that we had, it gave me a bit of like, okay, if it was to be that we needed to do it, then something would have pointed us to the direction. But
exactly.
I took some comfort in that it is, that's how things turned out for him. With Ayub's case, his younger brother, he obviously Abu Talib was diagnosed, and within the same week of his diagnosis, I got Ayub diagnosed. His diagnosis was initially through the ACTH levels. So Abu Talib's was his MRI and his ACTH. Ayub's was his ACTH. We did do the genetic testing, but in South Africa, the genetic testing takes quite long. I think it took us about between 6 to 8 weeks to get the information back. So by then we knew the diagnosis. It was merely just a confirmation. In Ayub's case, he had his MRI as well, and he had no neurological damage. So with him, his adrenal glands does take strain in producing cortisol. So he is taking Covacort. and we just do his 6 months, 5 months MRIs to monitor. In his case, that's where we are. And with Ayub, we did do the tissue testing. He has 6 potential matches in Germany. If we ever, need it, inshallah, there's some hope in his case. With the swab drives we were doing, unfortunately, there wasn't any local donors that matched Ayub. But we've matched, there are 4 people that signed up at our swab drives that were matched people that were on the waiting list in South Africa. So that is like such a blessing, such a success story. That is, that's really great. So the swab drives,
other people's. Yeah, you helped save other people's lives.
I think that, any ALD patient or ALD family, you are handpicked for this journey, and it's not an easy journey, but we also have it with a purpose. And I definitely felt in our way we were there to answer others' prayers through the swab drive, through getting their matches. So that, also is something that I just kind of took comfort to. It's a funny thing when you're facing such a big difficulty in your life, you really need to take joy in the small moments. And that was one of my biggest joy factors, the fact that I knew we did the swab drives and we were able to save other lives. I think it's just a blessing.
You're saying the same words that I'm saying. I'm also always saying that this is there is a purpose for what we have, and for myself, I'm not sure. I think because I'm researching at both diseases, either adrenal insufficiency and ALD, and I'm trying to spread the awareness, or raise the awareness, and save other lives by the knowledge. So hopefully this will be the purpose, And as you said, we are handpicked. It's very rare, but alhamdulillah, hopefully we are switching this to something positive.
Yes. And I don't know how, in some other countries they have the ALD centers. In South Africa, we don't have any ALD experts. So, for example, in the city I'm staying in, we only have 4 pediatric neurologists. So it's not it's not easily that you get the right specialist to treat you.
Exactly.
And I really just want to.
Sorry, were they aware, or any of them were aware about the disease or not, about ALD, of the pediatric neurologist?
So they have leukodystrophy cases, but not adrenoleukodystrophy cases. If I'm not mistaken, our treating doctor said that it wasn't her own patient, but when she was training as a doctor, she had a colleague that had an ALD patient. So that was the only reference that she had. I do know that they consult some of the US doctors. They send through the MRIs, they get some information from them and advice on treatment plans.
Yeah, this is good. Okay, going to our other question. State the challenges that you faced during this journey.
I think the challenges for me was more just trying to care for my son. And it's you typically you go to the doctor, they tell you you have this, you need to take this medication, do bed rest, do whatever. And as a parent, you can go home knowing these are what you need to do. And with this disease, you don't get a little guidance, you don't get anything. So I think the journey is very unique for everyone. The challenges changes over time. Like I told you before, with how my son was, the biggest challenge was just keeping him safe. Physically keeping him safe was the biggest challenge initially. And now it's completely flipped. He's bedridden. He can no longer pose a danger to himself. So now it's just about giving him the right palliative care that he needs. But I think so overall, I think the biggest challenge is just the lack of information that there is about the disease. There isn't any adrenoleukodystrophy organization or support group in South Africa. The level of expertise in the medical field in South Africa, again, so even if it comes to South African research, there's very minimal research. So it was from a medical perspective, that was probably the biggest challenge. There was a time Abu Talib was sick and I took him to hospital, and they actually didn't treat him yet because the disease is so unknown. So they were calling various doctors to find out, is this okay to give him? How will it conflict with that? How will it conflict with this? So I think that's the worst thing. The worst thing is not having enough information and research from a medical perspective to support your journey. And and like I said, just the sort of the family support locally. The international ALD community has been amazing. There's lots of moms I've connected with, we shared each other's journeys, shared tips, and, just sharing stories that kind of, I think initially in the early stages, when you see moms in an advanced stage and how they're coping and how they are navigating it, it's quite inspiring. I mean, in the beginning, we didn't leave the house, we were just homebound, and over time you kind of build confidence and try to lead his normal life and still give him experiences while he's here.
Yeah. And I'm usually asking also, in order to know worldwide, is there any support from your government, financial support or something like this, or no? Because I shared some of the stories. So some of the countries, offer this support and some not. So I'm just wondering, in order also to raise the awareness for something like this for the governments worldwide, that we are there. So.
Yes, I think I recently read a research article that said that while rare diseases are rare, if you actually add up in totality the number of people facing rare diseases, it's equivalent to the third largest country in the world. So we are definitely there. We exist. No, unfortunately, I don't know of any support from our government for this disease. There is a palliative pediatric organization that offers some support. So they kind of do this. There is a palliative pediatric organization that offers some support. So they kind of do home visits. They check up on the patient, but it's not specific to adrenoleukodystrophy. So it's any pediatric child facing, any situation that's putting them into palliative care. So that is called PEDSPAL. They've been amazing. I will soon be starting play therapy through them. And that's the only support I can definitely say that I'm familiar with or that I know. I have just, aside from that, I've gotten involved with the biobank and some studies at Northwest University in South Africa. They are looking at doing some ALD studies, which is so exciting. And then also with Rare Disease South Africa. So those are kind of the organizations and, people you could tap into. But I would love to start a Adrenoleukodystrophy South Africa organization.
Oh, amazing. Wonderful news. Yeah, and hopefully one day there will be ALD newborn screening there. I hope every country in the world we'll have this. I forgot to mention something. Did you have any visit with the genetic counselor or something in order to check the family? Because sure, you are the carrier, but how about the other family? If you have siblings, parents, cousins, all of this. So have your family been checked out?
Yes. Yeah, there are some family members that have gone the route of being checked, and they have seen genetic counselors in South Africa.
Oh, okay, amazing. Okay,
But
and
there's no cases that is known in the family.
oh, so it's
Yeah.
only maybe you are de
Probably be a
novo.
mutation. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, maybe you are the de novo, the first one. So, okay, and can you please share with us your dreams or what you wish will, if it happens, will make our lives easier with the rare diseases or improve the lives of those affected by ALD?
I think I really wish for a Adrenoleukodystrophy South Africa. That would be something that's a short-term goal, actually. And obviously, I think like any other mom out there, we want a cure. You know, and I watched the interview you had with I think a mom, it was Australia or Canada, but she's originally from Egypt, and her words resonated with me because it was so powerful, because like God said, with every disease there is a cure. And
Yes.
I think that we were hand chosen, and we were chosen to be the front warriors of finding the cure, to advocate, to wave our flags, to show we are here, to show that attention is needed to this disease. It's such a horrible disease that if only newborn screening was just done all over, early detection is so vital. Everyone's story could be so different if there's newborn screening available. So definitely, I would love to see newborn screening being a norm, an absolute norm. And then, I think the international community has been so great, but not everybody has access to the international community. So I think definitely having a local community of adrenoleukodystrophy support groups within countries or within regions is something that is also very important for this disease.
Yes, yeah, I agree with you 100%. Yeah, and I have these feelings that maybe the cure will be found out by us because we are
Inshallah,
the
inshallah.
inshallah, because we are the one that's yeah, we're focusing so much about this and we have the hope that will never end, that there is a cure.
Yes, definitely. There is. So yeah, inshallah, we will bring the answers. But
Yeah,
I think while I do have the opportunity and I am speaking to you, and I know that there's a lot of families watching this, if there is any other families who can in any way just give me their advice of how they started, even in your case with ALD Hope, how you started, how you got recognition, how you because essentially we want to encourage research in this disease. And I would like to appeal to the ALD community if there's any way that they can contribute to making ALD South Africa a reality. That would be lovely.
yeah, amazing. Okay. Okay, I'll talk to you about the organization and all of this. For the contribution of the other organizations of ALD, I believe they were so helpful and cooperative. But I'm still for us as ALD Hope here in Canada, we still didn't have any partnership with any of them. But hopefully, I'll do this. I thought about maybe establishing something and doing something, and then we can get the
Yes.
partnership. However, they are so. For example, in our case here in August, Ontario will be the first province in Canada, Ontario, where I live here. So it will be the first province that will have ALD newborn screening in August 2025. Yeah, and have the wonderful Elisa Shiger, the one who started the ALD newborn screening in America, in the States, around more than 10 years ago. So she is very cooperative and helpful. So all of them, I can tell you, either ALD Connect also, they are helpful. You know, Alex TLC in UK. All of them, they're amazing. Yeah, I don't want to miss anybody, but yeah. So we are all.
No,
I
this
feel
is lovely. That's
yes,
really exciting.
yes. They are. You know, you can. I have this feeling that we are like a big ALD family. You know, we are having the same blood somehow.
Mm.
Okay, but in a bad
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
but at the end
In
of
a
the day,
bad.
but at the end of the
Yeah,
day,
yeah. We're
with
connected. Yeah.
exactly. We are connected with wonderful spirits. Yeah,
Mm.
actually, yeah, all of them are amazing. So whenever you start this, we are all with you,
Yeah.
and yeah, I can help by any means, and I'm sure they will be helpful, yeah, and cooperative with you as well.
Mm. No,
So
thank you so much.
most welcome. Thank you so much for accepting to record or share your story. And yeah, I can tell you, yeah, that you're very, very powerful mom, and you did everything, and maybe more than than anyone can expect in a short time. But as you said, we are handpicked for a purpose.
Mm. I appreciate this chat so much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. And well done to you. I mean, you've made brilliant strides. You know, you were also one of the first moms I spoke to when I was still panicking. Like I think I hardly knew what a low score, but I was I was chatting to you, and you know, it's people like you that has definitely helped me be where I am today. As you know, just made us just made the reality a bit easier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that you're not alone.